Alright, so recently I've decided to show my graphic novel collection. I have realized how much it has expanded since moving in here about a year and a half ago. When we first got the bookshelf, we had maybe 2 rows of graphic novels, and now I have so many I can't even fit them all on. So I figured it would be a good time to show them to the world and perhaps get advice as to what to read next. I haven't read all of the ones I own just because I can buy them faster than I can read them, but I do intend to read them all eventually. Alright, so let's get going. Gonna start on this top shelf. I think I'm only gonna do 2 at a time just because there's quite a few. Don't want to take too many of your minutes up. Right here we have Three Story by Matt Kindt. It's a really nicely put together book. Lots of watercolor. Looks beautiful. Sturdy. That's always good. Next to it there's 30 Days of Night and its sequel Dark Days all together in one hardcover collection. I wound up picking that up brand new, still sealed in plastic for like $8, so I couldn't turn it down. 52 Aftermath paperback. I have not read this one. I picked it up for just a couple bucks. Seemed like a pretty good deal, so I decided to add it in. 100 Bullets, one of my favorite books. As soon as I found out that they were making hardcover editions for it, I just jumped on and pre-ordered the first one. Somehow time passed very quickly and I had no idea they were up to like 3 already, so I have to get on finishing it. But this is such a great deal for the money. It's like 19 issues in one volume with a few extras. It's really awesome. The series as a whole is excellent, and I would totally recommend it. These 2 paperbacks I got shortly before I realized that 100 Bullets was coming out in hardcover, so those are just kind of hanging out now. Next to that, we have The Adventures of Barry Ween, one of my early comic book experiences, put out by Oni Press. And my first series that I ever completed, American Virgin, on Vertigo. It's pretty awesome, just about a guy who talks about saving yourself from marriage, and then some crazy shit happens, and it ends with a bang. Now we have Akira, which I picked up a couple months ago from work. We had 2 through 6, and I got a really good deal on them. And I ordered the first one, and I've since read it, and I like it a lot. So I'm gonna be finishing up, hopefully before too long. And next to those, we have all 4 volumes of Astounding Wolfman. Pretty good title. The art's really great. The colors are like super dynamic. The story gets a little weird in the middle, but it picks up to have a really good ending. Pretty open-ended. I'm sad to say that it got killed before its time, but you know, better to have it dead now than lose steam and become really bad later on. Another recent buy, Bad Island by Doug TenNapel. Just really like his work, so I had to pick this up when I saw it. And next to that, another Barry Ween book. Big book of Barry Ween. It's totally awesome buy. There we go. It collects the entire series of Barry Ween in black and white. It's really good. It's just like Jimmy Neutron for adults, kind of. He's pretty hilarious. The art is excellent. I would recommend it to anybody. Then, of course, we move on to Batman. Everyone's favorite Batman Year One. Haunted Knight. Then, it took me forever to get this book. It was out of print when I needed it, and I just waited for months for it to come back. Long Halloween. Dark Victory. Killing Joke, of course. Great Batman story, beautifully illustrated. Another beautifully illustrated book, Arkham Asylum. Dave McKean is great. His layouts are amazing. Arkham Asylum Madness by Sam Keith, another crazy Arkham Asylum book. Batman Hush. I have yet to read this one. It's just been sitting around. Unfortunately, I get so bogged down with other books, I push back all the good ones. Batman Man-Bat. Awesome Elseworlds title. It's really pretty to look at, and the story is just ridiculous. No Man's Land Volume 1. Have not read this one. I'm not really sure how it's gonna be, but I'll figure out one day. Dark Knight Returns, of course. When I started reading it, I wasn't really sure if I was gonna like it, but by the time I got to the end, I grew pretty fond of it. Batwoman Elegy. Awesome, awesome, awesome book. Could say awesome a few more times about it. It's beautiful. The story is just wonderfully written, and what else is there to say about it? Then we've got Battle Pope. Robert Kirkman's first series. It's hilarious. And God decides to make Pope this badass and gives him his son as kind of a sidekick. And so he sexes up women and smokes cigars and beats up demons. And we've got Berlin. I have not read this one. This is volume 2. Another book I picked up for cheap that I haven't gotten to read yet because I don't have the first one. But it looks to be pretty good. Then we've got The Big Hoax. I pretty much have not read this one. Another dollar buy, but it looks pretty promising for when I do. I have this Bizarro World Trade. It's kind of hilarious. There's a lot of funny, bizarre, of course, stories inside. The art's pretty silly as well. I would recommend it if you want a silly superhero story. Blade Black and White. This was given for free with a purchase of something else, like on eBay, I think. I don't know. It was just like some sort of weird incentive they threw in. I have not read it, but it looks kind of cool. Blankets. Great story. I had heard tales of it making grown men cry, and so I had to check it out for myself, and it was pretty damn good. I don't know, it's just very heart-wrenching and very true to life, so I would definitely recommend that to you. Then we've got Borderline Volume 1 and 2. I love Eduardo Risso's art a lot, so I picked this up based on that. I got a really good deal on both of them. So, I have read the first trade, and it's very science fiction-y, kind of crazy, but it's good. Then we have The Boys Volume 1. I'm a pretty big Garth Ennis fan, so I picked it up, but I have not read it yet. I want to get at least to Volume 2 before I start, just in case I want to rip through them. And then there's the 2 hardcover Brightest Days. I have not read these. These actually aren't mine, but they're in with my collection. Then we have Brit, volumes 1, 2, and 3. The second volume, it's easily the weakest, but it picks up really well in the third volume. And the art is wonderful. Some cool Easter eggs in it, so I would suggest you pick it up, even if you didn't like the second volume. Then we've got Casanova. Really good book. Got 4 volumes of Chew. John Layman is awesome. It's a really cool creator. His book is incredibly creative. It's only gotten better as time's gone on, and so I would recommend it to anybody. Then there's Countdown Presents The Search for Ray Palmer. I have not read it. Another one of those cheap books in the bin, but the cover's really nice. I'll read it one day. And then last on shelf one is The Criminal hardcover by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Awesome collection. Lots of good stuff in here. I would definitely suggest getting this over the trades. It's really worth it for the price. And so that took up a little bit more time than I thought, so I will come back to you for shelf 2.